Cool. All right, let's do some Tai Chi. So allow your feet to touch in the center, and then bring your head top up to its highest point, and then relax your shoulders, relax your tailbone, and then breathing. Bring the hands together in the center. So the feet are connected, the hands are connected, and then connect the tongue to the roof of the mouth. And then internally, make the adjustments. Pull the head top up, relax your brow, open your vision, open your nostrils sideways. Feel as if you can relax and expand your sinuses. Put a little bit of pressure in the tongue, pressing up to the roof. Pull your ears directly backwards over your shoulders while keeping your chin tucked. Relax the inside of your jaw so it feels like your mouth can generate saliva easily. Keep the neck straight. Relax the shoulders. The chest is empty, so we don't have it. It's not pushed forward up here. Instead, it's relaxed. You should feel space in your armpits. So the arms, they're relaxed, but there's just enough liveliness there to keep the expansion. And the same thing inside the elbows and then the wrists as well. You should feel the energy can move freely. If the elbows are closed, it's like if you have a hose and you bend it, the energy needs to move freely. Use the center to support. Relax your tailbone and expand your lower back. Let all of this, almost as if you're going to take your whole torso and sit it directly onto the edge of the bench. And then relax the insides of your hips, this line that goes here. The knees have a bend in them. We don't have them pushed fully straight. And then flex your ankles. Feel as though you can grip your ankles and expand them. Activate your feet. So make the point where your ankle on the ground is as high as possible by pulling your heel forward, pulling the ball of your foot back, and then activating your toes. And then make the arch of the foot. I use the word pronounce. Pronounce the arch in your foot because it's there, but we want to highlight it, give it a little bit of power. And then from there, feel the energy traveling from this point in the center of the foot up the arch to the inside, all the way to the head top. And when you bring the energy all the way up to the top, take a deep breath and relax. We're going to start doing some Qigong with the same idea. So by the way, my feet are parallel. Like I said, my camera sometimes has an angle of view that makes it look like my feet are out here to the side. Make your feet parallel or less by turning them in, and then breathing as if we're inflating our entire body all the way up to the top, and then stretching, reach all the way out to the sides, and then at the base everything is relaxed. Internally, we're lifting the base of the torso, we're lifting the pelvic floor, and then allowing it to either expand or relax on the way out. So, on Wednesday night we said imagine that your body is a hollow tube. But instead imagine that your body is an infographic from an 80s battery commercial, right? They always show the how many have even seen a battery commercial in the past 10 years? They don't make them anymore because that's the way it is. So they always show some kind of energy bar traveling from in the red, and then it turns orange, and then yellow, and then when it fills up, it turns green, right? So The same way, imagine that your body vertically, by breathing, you can fill from your feet upwards. Like pulling the energy from the earth and expanding it beyond your shape. And then using the inside to help, both physically on the inside, pulling the energy up, the inseam of the legs, lifting the base, keeping the tongue connected, and then also using your mind. I give you some ideas of imagine your body as a hollow tube, and you're channeling energy up through the center of it. This is one way to use your mind. So go at your own pace, and you can balance yin and yang. But while we're breathing, I'm going to talk about something, and we'll talk about it through the summer, which is regulating body temperature through breathing. For those of you that have taken my class in past years in the park, you know that sometimes when we meet in the morning it's cool, and in the summertime it's very warm. So while you're breathing, right now, today, at this time, is kind of unique. It's fairly mild. But this past week has been unseasonably warm, and it's going to be a warm summer. So I want you to practice trying to control your body temperature through breathing with this same exercise we're doing right now, which is the Qigong. And to do that, taking longer inhales, and then making your exhales very fast. Like you're expelling all of the hot energy quickly. And then inflating slowly. So make your inhale very long, and your exhale very quick. Getting rid of all of the exhaust. So on the inhale, take the time to feel the inside of your nostrils. There's some Zen practices that say, put the focus on the tip of the nose, your focus is or just past the tip of the point of your nose. On this one, feel around the inside of the nostrils on your inhale. And on the exhale, everything is relaxed. You may feel it's warmer air. So for those of you that understand heating, air conditioning, something like this, what we're doing is we're taking in the air outside of the body is cooler than the body. So we're allowing that cool air to run over the nostrils, the nose, the sinuses, the throat, the lungs, all the way down, is taking in the cool air. And then when we take the hot air that's been circulating inside of the body, we expel it quickly. So like running cool air over the radiator for a long time, and then getting rid of any warm exhaust quickly. This works, by the way, in reverse. Fortunately, we live in Southern California, nicknamed sunny Southern California, so it's warm for most of the year. We don't have to think about being cold. But when you travel to a location that's cold, and you only pack a light jacket because you're so used to living in Southern California, you can change your body temperature by doing the breathing. So when you're hot and you have to be standing outside for a long time and there's no air conditioning, you can use this breathing technique. You don't have to move your arms around, waving them. You can stand and do the same thing. Here we're doing Qigong, so we want to exercise. We want to move the whole body gently. But we can practice changing. You can increase the speed as well. So think of like running more air over the gills of the radiator, your nose and your sinuses and the nasal cavities in the front of the face. And then even faster exhaust. Like we said, this works in reverse to warm yourself up. This, by the way, is you can actually read about this in if you look at Chen Manching. He has a couple of books. If you look at his books, he talks about one of his teachers, one of his Taoist teachers used to live in the mountains, and he said all he ever wore was a single robe, even when it was snow. And for any of you that knew TC watching this, you would see him in the wintertime in a single layer jacket, single layer comfort jacket. It's February and we're out in the park and everyone has looks like a parka, right, this huge thing. And my teacher would show up with just a single layer shirt and he wasn't cold. You didn't see goosebumps. He was warm. And people would be amazed and say, how do you do that? And he would say, I control my breathing. And then we can also look to the nature as well. We see other animals capable of doing this. We see moose and bears and various types of rabbits and rodents and things that live above the Arctic Circle. They live in very, very cold climate. And when it gets super cold, they go into hibernation, but otherwise they don't have a space heater. They can't change the setting for the heated seats in their nice car, right? They're a moose. They had to go across a river and their feet were wet. So they use the breathing. They have other means. Their bodies are different and they're adapted. But that being said, we can adjust. By the way, what's the reverse of this? Even in the summertime in California, the yin and yang is everybody runs the AC so much. Make this a stretch to reach all the way out to the side. Stretch out your shoulders and neck. And so you go into the office building and the temperature gauge has been set to 66 degrees below zero and you're freezing. Remember the same technique. You can, by increasing the length of the exhales, increase the body temperature. All right, let's bring everything back to the center. So allow your feet together, and then breathing, hands together in the center for He Tai Chi. And then calibrate again. Bring the head top all the way up. Sink the tailbone all the way down. Activate the feet. And then just relax. We're going to do a quick warm-up. We're going to do some Tai Chi. So starting from the head top, lock your shoulders in place and just turning around the center. And imagine that when you lock this base, that you can make the top of your back and your neck and the base of your head and the skull like it's reaching like an arm. This is a weird concept, right? But so if your arm feels you slept on it wrong or something, you can stretch it out very easily, right? So think of the top half of your spine while you're turning the circle, like it's reaching. And even if you turn it where you keep your chin tucked and you allow it to sit closer to your torso, don't just let gravity do all the work. Put a little bit of power into that extension, into the reaching power. If you haven't changed directions, be sure to change directions. And remember the long breathing we just got done doing. Come back to the center. We're going to do some shoulder rolls. I want you to do these with the we can think of the pivot for the shoulder rolls right here, right? Like there's a seam on my shirt, or like an action figure or a doll, right? They have a seam right here. We can just do shoulder rolls from there. But I want you to think about the pivot point happening as close to your center so that you're moving your collarbones and your shoulder blades, and that you can really open this back here, trapezius. Everyone has the same issue. Everyone has stress in the same place. So do the same breathing and make the movement, make that circle from that pivot point on the inside as large as you can. Really relax on the downside of the circle. And you can add another movement, which is closing the shoulders in the front and opening them in the back, so that we're making sort of a cone shape from the inside. And bring the pivot in as close to the spine as you can, remembering the long, deep breathing that we started with. By the way, check to see that you have a very serious expression while you do this one. You should feel, if you smile even a little bit, everything changes. The face changes, and the head and neck and the upper back should change as well, even from half smile. What's next? Let's do a little bit of turning around the center. So keep your hips and your face pointing to one direction and just turning. So the same thing on this one. I want you to feel that your head top is reaching up and that your tailbone is either sinking or that it's staying in the same place. So we want us as if we're lengthening the spine. And then do the same thing. We talked about the pivot point. Move the pivot point closer to the center, both into the dantian this way and into the center of your torso this way vertically, so that when you're breathing, you can feel your spine turning around the center of your torso. You're not turning directly around the spine. The spine actually, if we looked at the torso, sits just behind dead center. So there's a turning. And then relax, come back to the standing position. And then turning the hips. So take a comfortable stance, and just as if you're turning in a circle, you can also imagine a square if you're pressing to each corner. Front left, front right, rear left. If you haven't changed directions. And then bring the feet back together in the center, and we're going to have your knees lined up with your hips and your feet. We're going to take the hands and do some of the breathing. See if you can relax your arms to generate more heat. The less resistance, the more the energy can travel. And then with the breathing, not only do we have more chi, but we can create pressure. And then just placing the hands over tops of the kneecaps. And with one goal of transferring the heat from your hands. If your knees feel cold, see if you can change the temperature. Keep your neck straight, relax your tailbone. Take a deep breath. We're going to step shoulder width wide. Push your tailbone back and away. And then relax your arms, your shoulders, your head, your neck, and let your upper body relax. So as if you're folding your body in half. Try to allow your crown chakra to point to the ground. Sometimes we do this thing where we keep tension like we're trying to look up in the back of the neck. Let everything relax. Do some breathing. Activate your toes, and it's as if you're folding yourself right through the middle line, so you can really take your upper body offline. Allow the energy to travel, the blood to move freely. And then when you're ready, right, keep doing the correct breathing even when we change. When you're ready, activate your feet and your toes, and then unroll. Using your abdominal muscles, take your back out of the equation, use your abs, and keep breathing, inflate all the way up, and relax. So we can do another one of these. So this is, by the way, balancing. When you come up, everyone has a head rush. Everyone has the face face is red, something like that. That's actually okay, that's a good thing. Because part of this exercise is we spend all the time with this container vertical this way. And when we take a second and tip it, you can feel how many here do not feel something when they're upside down, right? How many here don't feel the energy, blood moving in their back, their neck, their head? Yeah, everybody feels something. So grip the feet the same, and then push the tailbone back away. We use the lower half like a support structure, and then we're just going to fold the upper half, let your arms relax, let your head top completely go. So imagine your head is like some type of like a bowling ball, and you have it, and it's completely relaxed at the end of the neck, and the energy can move. Remember to breathe while you're upside down, and then see if you can achieve some of the same Tai Chi ideas by straightening the neck and by Shei Kwa, by tucking the insides of the hips, and by relaxing the lower back, or is it upper back when we're upside down? This becomes an interesting question once we lose our origin point. So grip the ground, breathe deep, and unroll on your own. Use the abs, use your core strength. Relax your back and inflate all the way, expanding. One of the reasons we put the hands all the way up over top of the head is because we can let the lungs inflate even more vertically inside the body. And then also this hitting here. And then next, for the legs, if we have the feet together, we're going to put one foot forward, push the tailbone back and away, and then just stretching, reaching forward. And you can do one of two things with your head and neck. Either looking up by turning, keep your back straight, but turn your chin forward like your eyes are extending your intention to make the stretch deeper. Or you can also keep the chin tucked, like you want to tuck the chin to the sternum and push the energy up through the back of the head and the crown, still reaching. Turn your toes upwards. Remember to breathe deep. And then when you're ready, shift forward, grip the ground, straighten your spine. Take a deep breath. We'll do a few more of those. So grip the ground, push the tailbone back. You have one foot forward. This is doing the other side. And then the same thing, if you look past your toes and past your fingertips as you stretch, use your eyes to set your ball forward. You look to see where you want to reach or where you want to stretch to, or turn your chin downwards and extend the back of your head, the crown. You can use your standing knee to support, and by the way, this is not a balance exercise. On your own, when you're ready, breathe deep, push forward, grip the toes, and stand up on your own. This is not a balance exercise. So if you're working on an injury, if your legs are not strong enough to do this kind of thing yet, you can use any type of surface. You can use a chair or something. Make sure if you're going to rely on something that is stable, and then you can do the same thing. But for standalone, you can take this leg and you can use it to, you can keep it straight all the way to about 45. Another thing, by the way, for Rad and everybody else, when you're in this class, we want to protect the knees. So the knee is never going in front of the toe. Right? So if I put a straight bar in front of my toe, my knee never wants to go in front of that. And then the same thing, my knee never wants to go past either side of the foot. So if I put a straight bar here, and I put a straight bar here, that means my knee is constantly staying in line with my foot when it's moving this way, right? During Tai Chi. Even when I turn, if I turn my foot out here, if we do the comparison, if I take a straight bar and put it here, here, and here, that knee stays constrained within the line of the foot. So this is something everyone can benefit from. And this is also one of the secrets to long practice. If you like to practice your whole life, you study with many teachers, you're going to see some of them, even into their old age, can do a very deep stretch. It's because this alignment is correct, right? And changing quickly out of it. because we practice everything with the correct alignment. That's the goal. Yeah, go ahead. If you have a question, you can feel free to ask. Oh, one last thing. Let's do the feet. So, with the balance, or you can use something. This is more about the foot exercise than it is the balance. You can practice the balance if you like. Either way, you feel comfortable. And then just pressing, if it's your left foot, you're pressing the brake pedal. But pull it back, like you're trying to somehow reach the toes all the way up to the nose. And then when you push it forward, like you're extending the toes as far as you can. So do a bunch of those. And you can keep things relaxed or you can use a power. Try some either way. And then change, gripping the standing foot, relax your tailbone for the balance. And then just pressing the gas. Reach as far as you can. And then turn the toes up like you're trying to make a loop that comes all the way up this way. You can try different speeds, and you can try some with power. What does it feel like if you activating the toes and keep the tendons on the sides and bottom of the foot gripped? And what happens if you just leave everything completely relaxed? You should feel a difference between the two. All right, cool. So, because it's Saturday and this is solely Tai Chi class, I want to focus on for our warm up. That's like a stretch. We'll do a little bit of Tai Chi warm up by using X stepping, and I want to talk about for Rad and anyone else tuning in the sort of ABCs of the Tai Chi idea that I'm teaching. So if we have the feet touching and we have the hands connected, the head top up, this first posture that we use is in Mandarin, it's called He Tai Chi, and it means Tai Chi in harmony. And if we study this one posture internally, this would be the summation of the external form. So the internal ideas, principles, concepts that we talk about should be done while we're in this posture, but we want to maintain all of those things while we're moving. So this is the head top is up. The brow is relaxed, the vision is open, nostrils, the face is in the correct place, ears lined up over the shoulders roll back and relax. The chest is hollow, we have a space in the armpit. There's a space between the hands, the arms are round with the tombe. The center is lightly engaged, we have this gripping, supporting everything else. The back is relaxed, tailbone is sinking. You can make a connection between your tailbone and your toes, activating the toes. We have palm inside the ankles and the feet are expanded. All of these are just one thing. We can just say, do He Tai Chi. Even when you're standing, you should be able to make all of these adjustments without thinking about it. But because we're learning and because we go through each posture, a lot of times what happens is once we start to learn the martial art, right, we want to box. We learn boxing. And so you see what I did here is I changed my posture. Maybe there's some styles of boxing that prefer that, but in this style of Tai Chi and the Yang style, we want to keep the back straight. And so while we're doing the form, maybe there's some kind of dynamic movement that we feel is, oh, we're boxing. We want to keep our guard, right? But actually, we want to keep our form. So these Tai Chi principles apply to every posture in the form. So we start with one. This is developing our center. We have one line of balance, and then we split that between two, and we open to the side. And for the side, we can just practice turning. We have Chansi. So from the one becomes two. We open sideways here. And now we have two poles. We have a left and a right. Even this one has two. We have top and bottom. But we go left and right. And we can turn like cloud hands or Chansi. And so this second one contains the next layer of Tai Chi principles. There's a waist turn. Every time we turn our energy, the waist is turning. The hands never moving on their own. If I leave my hands static, this is what's happening. My waist is turning. My hands literally just doing this. I'm turning just at the elbows. Just like the very first two movements we have, grasp the sparrow's tail, left, right? It's this kind of catch. So here, the waist turn, keeping the spine straight, how the spine turns around the center. Turning, using the turning of the waist in coordination with the turning of the elbow, the big wheel turning with the small wheel, and how to use that in self-defense. This is talked about in the Tai Chi class. And then shifting from one side to the other side. What is the principle of keeping the weight, right? So if you practice, you want to practice slowly. Transfer the weight smoothly and evenly between sides. Feel your feet like pouring a fluid from one container into the other, and then back to the other side. And now, at this level, we take all of the things we learned in Tai Chi Harmony, the head top, the brow, the breathing, the tongue connected to the roof, activating the feet, relaxing the tailbone. And we want to keep all of those while we're moving, and then we add waist turn. What's another one? Forearms. Every movement, the forearms are turning. This is called chansi, or silk reeling, like spinnerets on a caterpillar or a spider that makes the silk or the web. We have this turning in every posture. And then from there, that's 2 dimensions. We go from 1 dimension to 2 dimensions. And then what's the next one? So we said it's shoulder width wide. The next one, 3 dimensions, is shoulder width deep. So now we have X and Y going in this direction. So if I step shoulder width wide and shoulder width deep, now I can switch between 2 poles, but I can make a bit of a circle inside of here, right? You can think of it as a figure 8 by turning your hips. And so now we pick up, for this one, we can do height on the other one, but this one has X, Y, and Z. So we're shifting back and forth. And we want to be keeping all the same things we practice in Tai Chi Harmony, the head top, using the center to support. When we shift, really keeping the tailbone relaxed. Turning. And then from here, we start to cultivate, by doing all these things, we have the external idea. And then we start to cultivate what is happening. That's establishing balance on the inside. Then we go to what happens balance on the outside. There's another person or another thing that is, that power is coming towards us. My teacher taught that Tai Chi is for self-defense. He was interested in boxing, but he felt that Tai Chi, we don't really live in a culture where we need to defend ourselves a whole bunch. So if you need to move something heavy, you get a package from Amazon and they leave it in the hall and you have to drag it in. What is the correct way to activate the feet? Pushing the tailbone, right? Using your abs, breathing deep, and also knowing when to say, you know what, that's someone else's problem, right? That's someone else's responsibility. So from the X-stepping, from there, we then have timing for when the opponent is approaching or when the power is coming towards us, and more and more principles added to the basic. So from the beginning, let's actually do some X-stepping. We're going to start in Tai Chi Harmony. I'm going to turn to face the other way once we start moving. But when we move, if you follow those principles, we'll talk about more principles to keep the balance. We can see where you can practice the Tai Chi form, even if you don't know the whole form, right? Maybe you just know part of it. If you understand the pattern, it's very geometric, it's very mathematical. You can follow at least the base checkerboard, even without knowing maybe exactly where all the pieces go. So from the center, if you relax your arms and you step back to the corner, shoulder width wide and shoulder width deep, and then you shift back to the center again, and then forward, relax your tailbone. And the same feeling, every time we transfer, like pouring fluid from one vessel into another, from one leg, the energy, sort of like a liquid, pours into the other leg and it sinks. And then we return. So by the way, for those of you that have experience and have a lot of practice with X-stepping, you can be practicing Jinji Doli in each of these corners. I'm doing this speed so that we can sort of start slowly. But if you're more advanced, it's okay. You can practice the movement while you're doing the form. For everyone else, again, imagine it's like a fluid pouring from one leg into the other leg, and then establish the balance quickly. So once the foot is planted, grip the ground, transfer, center. Relax your tailbone, breathing deep. Look at something stable. Okay, before I continue on, does anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? Because next we're going to do the Tai Chi form. Before we do, we're going to do the first section just up to hook and whip, so that for Brad and Howard and anybody else that doesn't have a lot of experience for the form, we're going to look at a place where you can always come back to the reset. So if we talk about it in musical terms, it would be like the chorus. It repeats. So let's start just doing the first section from Tai Chi Harmony up to hook and whip, and then we'll look at the rest of the form. So pick a space. We can start a little bit more centered. I'm going to face the other direction, and I'm going to make my movements larger so that you can follow. And starting from Tai Chi Harmony, relax your tailbone, grip your feet, feel your feet on the ground. Push the back of your head top up, breathing deep. Bring the hands together in the center. We're going to open shoulder width wide. And then sink the tailbone, keep your back straight. This is Tai Chi, Qi, the start of Tai Chi. Everything's lined up. Check your feet, your knees, your hips, your shoulders, your eyes. Everything is lined up. And then from here, breathing, we're going to shift to the left side and do a fancy catch on the right. This is grasp the sparrow's tail with the left ward off. And then on the other side, shifting to the right, my left side is catching. I'm going to step forward into the square and ward off on the right. And then breathing deep, this is roll back. So I'm turning my feet, join the palms. This is press. So press is a short wave. Power, breathing, push. Shifting to my rear foot, this is look left. Glance right. Gather the energy, this is double press. Horizontal split hands goes from one corner, from the northeast to the southwest. My feet are together. We have the Alsho, which is hook, and Dampien, which is single whip. So from there, take a deep breath, relax. Those 8 movements that we're doing, that we just did, those repeat 8 times throughout this form. So any time that you hear roll back, press, push, look left, glance right, double press, horizontal split, hook, whip. Those 8 movements repeat 8 times. They're the basic 8 postures of Tai Chi. In fact, I think this summer I'm planning a very short workshop online. I think that I will just upload it to the YouTube channel about Tai Chi theory, because when studying Tai Chi, you have to sort of look to the past to understand what's happening. And in the Tai Chi classics, there's talk about what they refer to as the 13 postures of Tai Chi. And that's a lot of times translated as 13 postures, but these are not postures, these are Tai Chi principles. And 8 of them are the types of power that we use. One of that is ward off. Everything's expanding like an explosion. Another one, the yin and yang, is roll back. Everything's contracting like a sheet or a blanket collapsing with gravity. The other one is palm, and the other one is lead. These are the 2 primary movements that we're using. If the opponent is completely soft like the blanket, then we want to use palm like the explosion to really blow the blanket away. And if the opponent is being very powerful, they're using palm, all of the energy is expanding against us. If we can become like the blanket or like a sheet of paper, the explosion can't move us so far away. So, and the rest of them are some combination. Just the upper portion is doing something. The rest of this is for support. And so the 8 powers coming out, we have ward off, roll back, press, push, look left, hook, and single whip. And then, in addition to that, there's the 5 steps, which are based off the wuxing. The wuxing is the 5 elements. And those steps, we'll just review them very basically before we do Tai Chi. From the center step is earth, just standing. When we stand here in Tai Chi Harmony, if we do hook, there's postures where we have one foot this way. This is considered earth, right? It's balanced. And then if we step from side to side, this is considered water and fire. This is a very quick step. We actually open the form, stepping side to side. And then also in cloud hands, we have side to side this way. So we've already done 3. Earth, water, fire, right? And what determines if each one is water and fire, depending on if it's an upwards movement or a downwards movement. Water moves very quickly downwards, fire moves very quickly upwards while it has fuel. The next 2, if we step shoulder width wide, shoulder width deep. If we step back, this is wood. It's defensive. And so it's very flexible. And then when we step forward, it's to attack. It's metal, right? So we want to have the power to move forward. So those 5 steps, combined with those 8 powers that we talked about, are the 13 postures. You can go research that term on Google if you have a copy of the classics. This is what when they say 13 concepts. Yeah, if you have a question, by the way, you can blurt it out at any time. Just unmute yourself with the space bar or reserve for later. If there aren't any questions, we have about 10 minutes. Let's try to speed through the first and second section. For those of you that don't know the form, when you hear roll back, just try to hang in there. For the rest of us, bring the head top up, relax the tailbone, grip your feet, bring your hands together in the center. We're opening shoulder width wide. Express yin and yang. The head top is floating, the tailbone is sinking. Breathing. This is grasp the sparrow's tail. Ward off. Looking forward, turn, grasp the sparrow's tail. Step forward. Ward off. Breathing in to roll back. Turning north, this is press. Breathing matches the push. Look left. Glance right. Schwant on is push, push, double push. Horizontal, split hands. Diao show is hook. Dumping. Turning back to the north. In this form, we've called this Tiso, Sanchi. Looks like play the guitar. So we Pipa. Roll up. Roll down. Turning 90 degrees. This is Bai Hu. Liang Si is crane, opening the wings. Here we call So Wei Pipa. Brush knee. Press to the center. Square step back. This is a repeat of crane opening the wings. So a pi pa, lo shi, press right into the middle. Holding the moon in the chest, shifting to the rear foot. Step left, cover with the left hand, right hand and foot, circling, embrace the moon, bon man shui, deflect parry punch, corner, open, focus power for punch. The left hand turns underneath. This is Rufeng. Press, press. Turning 90 degrees to the north. This is embrace tiger, return to mountain. Right foot comes to the left. Left foot forms a T. Palm press to the center. I'm going to turn the other way so that you can follow. Roll back. Press. These are the basic 8 movements. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double press. Horizontal. Split hands. Hook. By the way, this is, we're facing this way. This is turn back to look at the moon. Sorry, I changed direction, so I got confused. We turn, cover with the right hand, left hand through the center. This is repulsive monkey. 1 of 3. Scoop, open, step back, press to the center. Scoop, step back, press to the center. Opening to the side. This is Sherfei. Diagonal flying, shoulder bump, expand, needle at the bottom of the C. San Tong Bei, right hand, right foot, left hand, left foot. Turning 180, block, punch, kick. Facing east, square step. Parry, punch. Di bu hua means fold knees. Keep your spine vertical. Shen bu li. Change step and return to natural breathing to roll back. Press. These are the basic 8 movements we had talked about. Push. Look left. Glance right. Double press. Double push. Horizontal split hands. Turning 90 degrees facing north. The owl shows hook. Side whip. We're parallel to the east and west. And this is cloud hands. So turning to the east, press to the center. Breathing. Keep your spine straight. Turning, stepping. Press to the west. On the right, press, breathe deep, turn, step, and press. One more on each side. Cloud hands. Second section. Step, press. The owl shell is hook. This is corner whip, so I'm turning 90 degrees. Gao Tan Ma. High pat on horse. So we reach over the top and turn, and then turning 90 degrees. This is high pat on horse number 2, and then turning 90 degrees again. Scoop, brush, and press. Continuously brush knee, breathing. C-step. Press to the center, brush knee, straight step, Jinbu Zai Shui, punch to the center, turning, block, punch, kick, square step, parry, So bend the bar. Open. Dali is big rollback. So keep your body upright. And then we have Baohu, which is embrace the tiger. And then on the other side, we repeat the same. This is Dali, is a big rollback. And that leads to Baohu, embrace tiger. The left foot comes in behind the right. Scoop the moon from the ocean. I'm facing the southwest. If you're keeping directions, kick, brush, air foam on air. Twin fists go to the ears. Stepping back, pull with the left side, kick with the left side, turning 1, 2, 3, facing southwest, pull right side, kick right side, turning to the west, block punch kick, breathe deep, long, we're almost there. Shui, it's focus, power, Rufeng, keep your spine straight, use your waist for power. Press to the center once, twice, turning back to the north. This is embrace tiger, return to mountain. Blocking at the top, grabbing punch on the right and left. Bring the left side back to the right. Bring your hands back together in the center. And relax. So let's do a little bit of qigong while we cool down. So breathing, the same thing we were doing earlier. Imagine your body is a tube, and that you can, like compressing. You practice Tai Chi, you make a whole bunch of energy, so you want to keep that inside. So like pressing packing material inside of the tube, inside of the box. Breathing, expand, reach all the way out to the side. And then long breathing, if your temperature has changed, use your breathing to regulate it. If you're warm, you can do longer, faster breathing with longer inhales. If you've managed to breathe so much that it's cooled you down, you can do the reverse. That'd be a good trick. I actually know that some of you can do it because I've heard some of you talking about Qigong. So I know that you can cool yourself off. I know that it's possible. I think that's about it. Before we close, anyone have questions, thoughts, comments, ideas? Let's do another sort of basic Qigong to close. So if I'm facing in this direction, starting on one side, inhaling all the way up to the center, and then turning. So my lower body doesn't move. Breathe deep. Grip your feet, relax your tailbone, and turning. Imagine the center line by relaxing the tailbone and extending the head top, that you can make it even straighter. Some of you have been practicing for years and you say, oh, I have an improvement. Like a laser line adjustment, making it even more precise. Go at your own pace. We're turning 180 from facing right side or to the east, turning to the left side or to the west. And so going at your own pace, check is the tongue connected to the upper palate? Is your face relaxed? Do you have a half smile as the minimum? Are you using your abs? Are you using the insides to breathe, lifting the pelvic floor, lifting the base of the pelvis to pull the energy and move the energy inside the body? And at some point, when you reach the other side, change directions. So now starting inhaling on the opposite side, turning 180 and exhaling on the way out. So the hands are continuously moving, you can think of this movement like a three-dimensional clock. Two-dimensional clock turning around one center, three-dimensional clock turning around the second pivot. And then put something in your mind, something that you like, something that you'd like to enjoy. And wherever you're at, do two more, returning back to the center. By the way, it's 9:30, so if you have to go, it's time. But when you get back to the center, let your hands float as if the air underneath is enough to support. Feel that they're lightweight. Relax your shoulders, your elbows, your wrists, your palms, your fingertips. And then bring everything back to the center. Bring your feet together. Bring your hands together. Bring your energy, bring your mind, your consciousness, your focus back to your dantian, to your center. And then close your eyes, at least part way, and put your focus onto the inside, to your dantian. Taking a deep breath, smiling internally. Take a second to express gratitude to yourself, for yourself. You have a mind, body, energy capable of doing Tai Chi. So take a deep breath, smiling to yourself. And that's it. Thank you. Call, text with any questions, comments.
Thank you.
Sure. Have a great day.